This is the Church of St. Ferdinand. The cornerstone was laid on February 19, 1821. It replaced the log church a few blocks away that dated from 1789. This is believed to be the oldest Catholic church building in the Louisiana Purchase territory. Philippine gave the cornerstone, which she had inscribed with the words, "My heart will abide here." And in doing so, she asked for the triple dedication. St. Ferdinand III, King of Castile, was already a given, but she also wanted to honor the Sacred Heart of Jesus and her favorite saint, St. John Francis Regis. The 1821 church was much shorter, and it was very simple, federal-style architecture and decoration. It was renovated, the interior was renovated to a kind of a Gothic revival style, much fancier. The original 1821 church was not as long as the present building. If you look at where the brick changes color here, you'll see how long the 1821 church was. And then in the 1880s, the church was lengthened and the front facade and the bell tower were added. If you look in the ceiling, you can see where the boards changed width. That indicates the length of the 1821 church. Everything in the present church here dates from the 1881 renovation. The only thing that dates from the 1821 church is the baptismal font in the back, metal, painted white, with a statue of Jesus and being baptized by John the Baptist on the top. This is a consecrated church. It was consecrated not at the beginning, but in September of 1832 by Bishop Rosati, who had replaced Bishop Dubourg by this time. Most churches nowadays are dedicated, not consecrated, because a consecrated church cannot be used for any other purpose. If it's going to stop being a church, it would have to be torn down. You can always tell a consecrated church because there are 12 crosses on the walls where symbolizing the 12 apostles. These are the spots where the bishop anoints the walls when the church is consecrated. And of course, the cornerstone represents Christ. The statues on the altar indicate the triple dedication of the church. You see the Sacred Heart in the middle. On the left is St. Ferdinand III, King of Castile. The reason a Spanish saint was chosen when the church was inaugurated was in honor of the Spanish domination of this land before the French got it and then the Americans got it with the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. And on the right is St. John Francis Regis, Philippine's favorite saint. John Francis Regis was a French Jesuit priest who lived in the 1600s and worked in France. His shrine was not too far from Grenoble at La Louve, and Philippine somehow had developed a great devotion to him and visited his shrine a number of times and put her coming to America into his hands. And she promised that if he got her to America, she would always have him honored in whatever chapel she was able to open. Under the altar is a wax figure of St. Valentine, which holds the relics of St. Valentine. These were a gift to Bishop Dubourg from the King of France, probably because his middle name was Valentine, William Louis Valentine Dubourg. The two pictures on either side of the altar are believed to be from the school of Rubens, and they came from Europe, probably brought by Bishop Dubourg. The sanctuary lamp is believed to have been the gift of the Bishop of Louisiana and Florida in 1799 and may have been used earlier in South America in the 1500s. On the ceiling, the letters D-O-M stand for the Latin words Deo Optimo Maximo, to God the best and the greatest. This church was the scene of the ordination of several of those early Jesuits who came to this area in 1823. It was a group of 12. They were Belgian, and they came from Maryland to settle on some farm property that Bishop Dubourg had several miles from here. They were really coming to make a base from which they could go out to work with the Native Americans on the reservations farther west. 2 of these 12 Jesuits were priests, 3 were Jesuit brothers, and 7 were still novices who would be ordained after they finished their training, their education. One of them was Peter John de Smet, who became the great missionary to the Native Americans in the northwest of our country. He and Philippine became fast friends because of their concern for the Native Americans. I think he believed that Philippine was the prayer power behind what he was able to do for the Indians. And when she died, he said that she was the holiest person that he'd ever known, and possibly the holiest person who had lived in North America. Evidently, they had a little agreement between them that whichever one died first would let the other one know that he or she was in heaven by granting a favor. And shortly after Philippine's death, Father de Smet said that his favor had been granted, so he was certain that she was in heaven with God. He was ordained in this church in September of 1827, along with several other of those Jesuits. Another one of the early Jesuits was Father Verhagen. He was the one who took Philippine out to the Potawatomis in 1841 and returned to bring her back safely in 1842. And then he was the parish priest in St. Charles when she died and said her funeral mass and attested to her sanctity with the little inscription that he wrote in the parish register there.